Look closely at this texture. 14 days ago, my skin didn't catch the light like this. It didn't have this bounce, and it certainly wasn't this calm. For years, I was stuck in a cycle of persistent redness and sudden breakouts that never seemed to care how much I spent on high-end serums. I had a shelf full of glass bottles and a morning routine that took 20 minutes just to apply. But what you're looking at right now is the result of putting all those bottles in a box and replacing them with a single, raw plant for 2 weeks straight. The change in my skin's barrier and clarity happened so quickly, it felt like I'd found a loophole in how we're taught to handle skincare. The premise was incredibly simple: absolute subtraction. I wanted to see exactly what would happen if I abandoned every synthetic slip agent, perfume, and preservative in my cabinet and forced my skin to interact exclusively with a raw biological compound. This meant no gentle cleansers, no vitamin C drops, and no overnight masks. Just 100% raw aloe vera mucilage, harvested fresh every single morning. I documented the process every day to see if a plant that costs $2 at the grocery store could actually outperform a $500 laboratory routine. To understand why this experiment worked, we have to look at the math of the modern skincare industry. This diagram tracks financial expenditure against actual skin barrier integrity. For most of us, as our spending on complex routines and active ingredients goes up, the health of our skin barrier sharply drops. This is a manufactured vacuum. You buy an aggressive acid to clear a breakout, which inevitably strips your natural lipids. Your skin responds by turning red and sensitive, so you buy a heavy, calming cream to fix the redness, which then clogs your pores and triggers the next breakout. The industry relies on this feedback loop to keep you searching for the next bottle to fix the side effects of the last one. We've been conditioned to believe that more products equal better skin, but the reality is that overcomplication often creates the very problems we're trying to solve. Your skin is a self-regulating organ with its own intelligence. When you drown that intelligence in a dozen different chemical layers, you disrupt its ability to heal itself. This 14-day challenge was about removing the noise and letting the biology do the work. Aloe vera is often cited as the gold standard for healing, yet there is a massive paradox here. Almost everyone who tries putting aloe on their face for a few days gives up because they see zero results. Or worse, their skin feels tighter and drier than before. They assume the plant doesn't work for them and go right back to their chemical exfoliants. The reason for this failure is sitting in the natural aisle of your local pharmacy. This chart compares the active enzyme levels of a raw leaf against a standard bottle of commercial aloe gel. In the raw leaf, the enzymes are at 100% potency. In the commercial bottle, they drop to almost nothing. To make that gel shelf-stable for years, manufacturers use high-heat pasteurization and add alcohol-based preservatives. This process kills the very biological properties that make the plant effective. When you use store-bought gel, you're mostly just applying thickened water and preservatives to your face. To get a visible change in your skin's texture, you have to follow a strict extraction protocol that preserves the plant's living chemistry. This isn't about convenience, it's about enzymatic activity. Before we dive into the specific steps I took during the first 3 days, make sure to like this video and subscribe. It helps me continue these deep dive experiments. I also want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me how many steps are currently in your skincare routine. Be honest, I used to be at 12. The truth is that the plant doesn't fail, the delivery system does. To see the results I showed you earlier, we have to bypass the factory and go straight to the raw botanical source. Day 1 of the challenge began with a step most people completely ignore: draining the aloe. When you first cut a fresh aloe leaf, it releases this thick yellow sap. This is aloe latex, a natural defense mechanism the plant uses to ward off animals. On human skin, aloe is a potent irritant. If you don't drain this completely, you'll likely experience contact dermatitis, itching, and redness. I had to let my leaf sit vertically in a glass of water for 30 minutes until all that yellow liquid was gone. This cross-section shows exactly what we're looking for. You have the green outer skin, that thin yellow layer of aloe we just drained, and finally the clear, jelly-like inner mucilage. My goal was to scrape out only that clear center. If you get too close to the rind, you risk bringing those irritants back into the mix. I used a sterilized spoon to harvest the gel, making sure it stayed crystal clear. Days 1 through 3 were what I call the adaptation phase. If you're used to the silky, laboratory-perfect texture of high-end serums, applying raw aloe is a shock. It's slimy, it's cold, and it has a slightly earthy smell. It doesn't have the artificial slip that chemicals provide, so it feels like it's just sitting on top of your skin at first. My skin spent the first 72 hours just trying to figure out what this new, unrefined input was. During this phase, I had to avoid the most common mistake, letting the aloe air dry on its own. Aloe is a humectant, meaning it draws in moisture. But because it lacks heavy lipids or oils, that moisture will evaporate right off your face and into the room, taking your skin's internal hydration with it. This is called transepidermal water loss. To prevent this, I had to seal the aloe with a single drop of pure squalane oil while my face was still damp. The success of this application hinges on treating these raw ingredients as reactive chemical compounds. This is a process of precise biological extraction. By isolating the clear mucilage and sealing it properly, you are creating a localized environment for the skin to begin its repair work without the interference of synthetic additives. By day 4, the novelty had worn off and the messy middle began. Cutting and scraping a leaf every morning and night is a lot more work than pushing a pump on a bottle. But around day 6, I noticed a change in the mirror that stopped me from quitting. The constant low-grade inflammation I'd lived with for years, that permanent pinkness around my nose and cheeks, was simply gone. My skin looked quiet for the first time in a decade. This shift happened because we reached the point where the skin's internal layers were finally saturated. By day 9, the tissue was fully responding to a specific group of compounds within the plant called mucopolysaccharides. This diagram shows the mucopolysaccharides at work on a microscopic level. These long-chain molecules act like biological sponges. They migrate into the stratum corneum and bind floating water molecules into a stable, grid-like structure. While this grid is forming, these molecules are simultaneously sending signals to your fibroblasts, the cells responsible for building your skin's framework, to begin synthesizing new collagen. As this hydration grid became more permanent over the next few days, I saw a physical change in my face's volume. Because the barrier was holding so much water, the fine lines around my eyes were being pushed out from the inside. The skin was becoming more resilient. Since the barrier was finally hydrated and healthy, my sebaceous glands stopped overproducing oil, which essentially cut off the fuel supply for my typical breakouts. By day 13, my face had a consistent, heavy luminosity. This luminosity represents the physical repair of the skin's structural matrix. Every cell was finally operating in a state of peak biological hydration, creating a smooth surface that reflected light naturally, rather than relying on the temporary shine of a cosmetic oil. When I hit day 14, the clinical change was undeniable. There was a measurable reduction in erythema, the technical term for that stubborn redness. My surface texture was the smoothest it's been since I was a teenager, and the lingering scars from previous breakouts had started to blend into the surrounding healthy tissue. My skin felt thicker and much less reactive to the environment. It's important to be realistic about what this protocol can do. If you are dealing with deep, internal, hormonal cystic acne, a topical plant isn't going to fix your endocrine system. Instead, view this as a systematic restoration of a compromised barrier. This challenge is about allowing your tissue to heal from the years of external irritation caused by aggressive chemical routines. To keep these results going without the daily mess of leaf cutting, I started using a maintenance method that has been incredibly effective. I blend the remaining clear gel into a liquid and freeze it in ice cube trays. Every morning, I take 1 aloe cube and glide it over my skin. You get all the enzymatic benefits of the plant combined with the immediate inflammation-reducing effects of cold therapy. It takes 10 seconds and keeps the barrier stabilized. Completing these 2 weeks proved that the body has an incredible capacity for self-repair when we stop getting in its way. When you provide the skin with a compound it natively recognizes, it knows exactly how to utilize those nutrients to rebuild itself. Looking back at the cost, the difference is staggering. A single raw aloe leaf cost me $2 and lasted almost the entire challenge. That $2 plant outperformed a bathroom cabinet full of products that cost more than my monthly car payment. If you want to try this, remember the 3-part requirement for success. You must drain the aloe in latex to avoid irritation. You must stay consistent for the full 14 days to allow the collagen signaling to take place, and you must seal the gel with a basic oil to prevent water loss. If you skip any of these, the experiment won't work. Take a look at your current skincare routine tonight. Ask yourself if those 10 different bottles are actually improving your skin, or if they're just keeping it in a state of constant, expensive repair. I challenge you to try this 14-day reset. Take a photo on day 0 and another on day 14. If this breakdown changed how you think about your skin, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dive experiments. Let me know in the comments if you're going to give this a shot. The shift in your skin health occurs by removing the friction of marketing and relying on the biochemical precision of this plant's natural composition. Sometimes the most effective way to transform your skin isn't to add more, it's to finally have the courage to take it all away.